Hi YouTube, it's your girl Jareen. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at macaroni and cheese. Let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is make the cheese sauce. And our first step is to make the roux. So the roux is just a mixture of butter and flour, and this is what we use to thicken the sauce. There are some times when I actually add some spices or seasonings to the butter before I add the flour. And then there are times when I make the sauce first, like add the milk or the cream first and then add these. So either way, you're good. You're just trying to get some flavor in there. So don't allow the butter to burn, and then you're going to add the flour. What you want to do is use your whisk. The whisk is going to help to just spread the flour really fast and incorporate everything, because you're trying to get a sort of paste. So just to, simply put, kind of looks like a paste. So you want everything to be nice and smooth and not lumpy. I find that the whisk makes this pretty easy. You do want to cook this a little bit because you want to cook out that starchy taste of the flour, and then you're going to be adding the cream. The heavy cream, add it a little at a time. And of course, keep whisking. I'm using a small whisk because this small whisk will get into those nooks and crannies of the pot, and then I switch to my big whisk if I want to. So all I'm adding here, guys, is just cream, and you just keep whisking to get a basic white sauce. Well, usually a white sauce doesn't have all those spices that I added before, but what you're making now is just the white sauce, which is the base for your cheese sauce. Once everything looks nice and smooth, guys, you can always switch to a wooden spoon if you want to, and keep the flame low to medium because you don't want this to boil. You just want your cheese to slowly melt in. So there was no salt added before, so I'm adding the salt, and of course make sure you taste. Aside from the salt and pepper, guys, I do add some grated onion. So if you don't like the taste of bits of onion, make sure you just use the finest part on your box grater. My husband loves this, and my friends love this mac and cheese too, so I stick to it. I just find that the onion just gives it a nice flavor. Sometimes I go with just onion powder, but I get a better review when I actually use real onions in the sauce. While this is gently bubbling away, you're going to add your cheese. Add it a little at a time. Make sure your flame is low, and if it seems like it's bubbling too much, just turn off the stove. You want the cheese to slowly melt in, or else it's going to be grainy because, of course, it melted too quickly, right? So slowly stir in all the cheeses until everything is nice and silky. You might see a few bits and pieces of onion in there, but that's no issue. Just make sure the cheese is nicely melted. While adding the cheese, if you feel like the sauce is getting too thick, just add more heavy cream. If you feel like it's too thin, then you can go in with a little more cheese. All right, you just want to keep stirring and allowing all the cheeses to melt in nicely. Of course, I have the elbow macaroni that was boiled beforehand, and I added some butter, and you just want to toss that together so the macaroni doesn't stick. And then we are gonna add our delicious cheese sauce. Look at that, it's so yummy. I have two different baking dishes here today because I want to do two different types of mac and cheese. So they're both going to be the same filling basically, and just the top is going to be different because sometimes I like to put on a crumb topping and sometimes I don't. All right, so for both of them, you have a layer of the macaroni mixed with the sauce, and then what I'm sprinkling on now is some shredded mozzarella. And of course, make sure you shred the cheese yourself. Don't buy the shredded one. And now I'm just gonna top it with more macaroni and cheese sauce, and then we'll just continue to layer until you get to the top. Smooth that off and finish it off with a mixture of all the cheeses you used in the sauce, or if you want to use just cheddar and mozzarella on top. Some people like to have a little bit of a crumb topping on their mac and cheese just for texture. So I'm adding some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese and some panko breadcrumbs and melted butter. We're gonna mix this together and pour it on top of one of the mac and cheese baking dishes, right? And then put that in the oven. This just gives a nice crunchy top. And so if you know somebody who prefers it that way, you can always do two small dishes, one with and one without. So I chose this dish, of course, to put the crumb topping on, and so you just sprinkle it generously all over, and then we're gonna put both baking dishes in the oven to bake at the same time. But you might want to take out the one with the crumb topping first, because that one will brown on the top faster than the other one. Okay, the mac and cheese is out of the oven. It's really good, guys. The smell of the cheese and the spices that were used, perfect combination. Really nice. So this is the one without the crumb topping, and I will show you the one that has the crumb topping, how that one would look. So I'm just gonna give it a scoop to show you what it looks like. What you want ideally is for the sauce to still be coating the macaroni. Once you scoop that out, everything should be nice and cohesive. Really delicious, guys. Once you try this, let me know which one you prefer. Do you like your mac and cheese with a crumb topping or without? So, till next time, take care, guys. Before you go, stick around to get those cooking tips to make this mac and cheese really good.